Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your 2-month forecast. We're going to be taking a look at July and August. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's good to see you. Before we get into the channeled message, just a quick reminder, you can always use this for sun, rising, and moon. Let's get into your channeled message here. So it's actually a two-parter, which works perfectly because we're looking at 2 months. So for the initial month here in July, what I'm seeing is foundational work. The image that came to me was a train, and I could feel the speed and the momentum building, but then I saw a fork in the tracks, but one track wasn't fully built. So the initial note here is it's okay to pause and do some research, do some planning, build something out first, because I felt some of you might want to pivot, or at least to have that plan B or plan C at the ready. Sometimes there's an inclination to just rush to the finish line or rush to the destination, but the planning is going to save you so much time and energy and resources in the long run. So I really think that for the first part of that first month, July, it's important to do the planning, and then you can do the exploration, the execution, get into the Knight of Wands, Knight of Swords energy come August, okay? And the other thing here is this could represent actual travel or movement. If there's been an idea that's been germinating, a project that you've been working on, we see just a little bit more of work to be done, and then it takes off. So let's give the cards a shuffle and see how this 2-month forecast is going to sort of map out for all of you. I hope you enjoy the changes. Let's begin. Before I get started, here's a quick check-in on Apollo, who's taking a nap, so we'll let him be. All right, as I'm shuffling the cards here, take a moment, please. Close your eyes. Release any thoughts that you might be bringing into this reading. And imagine, if you will, that you've created a circle of light around your body. Let's invite in your angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters as we begin. All right, so we shall begin here with the energy of... Ooh, we got some volunteer cards. With the energy of July, cards that were just flying out of the deck. We're going to do past, present, and future. I'm also going to pull a karmic card, a connector card. Then we're going to look at the energy of August, doing again past, present, future. And then we're going to see an outcome. Additionally, besides just the connector, I also want to see if there is any potential block. All right, let's get everything organized so you can see them more easily, and we'll move forward from there. Oh, actually, we're going to do one more thing here, which is to pull a wonderful catalyst card. We have a powerful message coming through for the catalyst, listening for the truth. Like I was saying just a couple of moments ago, it's advantageous to slow down at least for the first month ahead and give yourself time to listen to your instincts, to learn about a situation, to basically get very confident before leaping forward. Don't let someone convince you to do something that you know you shouldn't do. Trust the first impression, the first instinct. It's the strongest, it's the most connected to source, and this is what's going to lead you in the right direction, okay? Also, you want to listen to and pay attention to if people walk the walk and talk the talk. Are they a person of integrity and truth, or is it kind of like smoke and mirrors, or just more of a projection? I think this is an important thing to pay attention to. All right, let me just take off my image for a second here. We can look at everything. And here's basically the month ahead. Karmically, we have the 2 of Cups coming through, and that's a really nice karmic energy. It's all of this is leading us to you sitting in a really good position here with the King of Pentacles 2 months down the line. So I actually love what I see here. Partnership and something really great on the horizon. Let's start with the karma. So karmically speaking, relationships over the next 60 days are going to play a pivotal role. Again, one of the challenges here is to listen to your own instincts, even when it's a friend, teacher, or loved one that may be trying to convince you for, whatever it is that they want you to do. You're really having to focus on yourself, balancing out how to be a good friend, partner, or lover, but also balancing out your path, your needs, and your instincts in this equation. Karmically, some of you have done a lot of healing work on relationships. I have a little bit of a pain in my solar plexus as I look at this. So there's still a little bit of healing that can or should be done when it comes to standing up for yourself, which is what we were just talking about. Speaking up when there's something that you need or want that may not be sort of delivered in a relationship, setting expectations, setting boundaries. This is a great period, though, for once that work has been done, for these relationships to grow and to flourish. In fact, again, flashing forward to the 60-day mark, the King of Pentacles shows that you are sitting in a really great position from a perspective of like getting things done, working together, and just feeling like you've got this. So it feels like there's going to be a nice grounded 60-day mark, and let's just work our way through to that point and not get too worried about sort of any of the twists and turns along the way. All right, let's see what's coming through at the beginning of July. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So this is the end goal, but the first thing you have to do is take care of yourself. Queen of Pentacles is one of the best giving cards. She is a natural mother, nurturer, giver, creator, but sometimes she doesn't take care of herself. So as the month kicks off, as we're looking here at June, the beginning of the month in particular, if you need something, raise your hand and ask. If you are noticing something in your mind, body, or spirit, health in particular, that is lacking, this is a period during which you really must prioritize that. That is the train track. If the track doesn't exist, the train goes off of that, and that is chaotic. So the groundwork here could be in health. Mental and physical health, you really want to make sure that that's where you want it to be. We can take this at basically face value. And for some of you, what might be going on in this period of time is increased focus on how you're scheduling your time, what you're doing with your money, and making sure that you're getting what you're giving when it comes to relationships and any sort of investment of your time, energy, or attention, okay? And once that happens, again, I feel like you're treading a little bit closer towards this ultimate goal over here, which shows stability. All right, now as we're looking at the next part of the month here, the middle of the month, we see the Page of Pentacles in the upright position. She's starting to focus in on what matters. So the first couple of weeks are introspective, it's discovery, it's understanding, the unveiling. And then as we look at the middle of July, what is really starting to get important is, all right, let's talk a little bit more about things. If there, again, I said if there's something you need or want, you can discuss it, particularly so at the midpoint of the month. This is also a time where you can start to, if you're trying to launch a project, if you're trying to get something built or get something put into motion, I would say around the 15th of July onward, that's where I start to see traction, construction, movement in that particular area. Also look at how she's really focusing on one thing. So if you are the kind of person that tends to juggle 15 things at once, sometimes you can make it work, but this month in particular, as we're looking at July, I think it's incredibly important for you to pick one thing to really see some progress in. Spend the rest of the time delegating and communicating, like, can you help me with this? Can I count on you for that? Really making sure that you're stepping into boss mode and not getting too mired down. Some of you may also be deciding to learn something new. These two cards back to back could show that you're deciding, hey, I want to invest in myself. Maybe it's in taking a class or something else with personal development, learning a new language. Maybe even as we're looking at the Queen of Pentacles, sometimes this can be a card related to home improvement. So this can be a decision to move things around in your time, energy, and money, get the house situation under control in a better place so that you can enjoy more time with the people that you love. So now let's take a look at what's coming through at the end of July. We have the Two of Wands in reverse. I kind of like that we see someone on a swing because it shows that things ebb and flow in life, and it's all about perspective, which is one of the key takeaways in Two of Wands. Instead of a crystal ball or a globe, she's looking at an egg in this particular illustration. So she's thinking, is it ready? Am I ready to let this hatch, or do I want to hold on to it a little bit more and let things sort of, continue to build and develop. I think you're ready by the end of the month to let go, but there's some hesitation. This is where it may be good to talk to someone else in your life that has keen insights on, whatever it is that you might be learning or stepping into, because I definitely feel, Aquarius, that some of you are just unnecessarily so, but it's like you're a little nervous because you're out of your comfort zone. And that's okay. Growth entails a sense of ambiguity, of unknown, a calculated risk. As long as you continue to follow your instincts and not kind of get pushed in a direction that doesn't feel right for you, I think you're going to land on your feet. So I'm feeling pretty good about the overarching energy of July. So let's go ahead and pull one card that shows what is it all about? What's the focus? So when we look at the focus of this month, it's walking the walk and talking the talk. We have Queen of Swords, and one thing that I love about the Queen of Swords, first of all, she's one of the most respected and even fierce energies you can get in the Queen position. She doesn't waste time getting to the point. She doesn't hesitate when something needs to be done, and it happens. So I feel like all of the homework, all of this consideration, all of the internal work that you've done is worth it. This also is you. So Queen of Swords is the Queen of Air, and that is you, Aquarius, and this is one of the best representations we can get. Know thyself, follow the path that you need to, and you're headed exactly where you need to be. If you happen to own a business, or even if you're just looking at your life in general, particularly your money, you may be deciding to get a little bit more organization when it comes to legal structures. Wills, trusts, legal documents of any sort. Make sure you're working with a trusted professional, a good legal point of view here, maybe even getting a couple of points of view to make sure that everything's buttoned up. We have a bunch of butterflies there at the center. Your voice, your vision can transform things and move them into an exciting direction. So now we have a little bit of a pulse here for the month ahead. Now we're going to go another month out, and we have connections and blocks that will help us interpret this. The connecting thread here is another Queen card. We have the Queen of Wands, ultimate boss energy, or penultimate. She's right up there with the King of Wands. But what I like about her is she's tapping into that feline energy, the cat. The cat represents the ability to land on your feet, no matter what the challenge. The Queen of Wands is like a light bulb. She is thinking way outside of the box. She's intuitive. She is creative. Some people may even think that she's in a sort of like world of her own sometimes, but that's why it's going to work. So as we look at August, the more you follow your own path, however different, strange, or misunderstood, that's the right word, misunderstood it might be, then that's going to lead you to your success, because you're not supposed to be following in everyone else's footsteps. In fact, going back to catalyst energy, it's like listening for the truth, listening for your own instincts here, okay? So step into a position of not just authority, but also authenticity. What's the block as we ease into the month ahead? Too many things on your plate. That's why Queen of Pentacles, I said it's time to delegate. That's why with the Page of Pentacles, I said it's time to focus. And with this one, letting something go. Because if you're still holding on to that egg or that pentacle by the time you get here, we can't start to see all of this other stuff happen. I mentioned this is laying the track and this is the train moving. You can't move in two directions. You have to pick a path, and it's hard sometimes. So the choosing, the articulation of choosing that, I want this, I don't want that, saying no, which is what the Queen of Swords is representing, that could be the hard thing for some of you. You have too many things that are on your plate, too many people that are pulling you in different directions, and a choice has to be made. Let's see how that might factor out. Okay, looking at August. So I love that we have a beautiful development here from the Two of Wands to the Three of Wands. Dreaming it, then doing it. This Three of Wands is literally hands-on. So we have the hand here representing you, or even spirit supporting you. But in this situation, I think it's you reaching for what you want. Normally, Three of Wands is slightly passive, a person on a hill looking at ships coming and waiting for something. This is much more active, where the person is saying, I'm both the creator and also the agent of that creation and change, and so she's reaching for it. So here's the new one, and here's the traditional one, and you can see the difference here. This person is waiting. This person is reaching. One thing that I'd like to mention while I have the traditional one here in my hand is that it all depends on your perspective. So if this person was late to the shore that day, they might miss the ships. If they were facing in another direction or looking down, distracted, they wouldn't see what's coming through. It's important to look forward, to the side, up, down, all directions, because this shows me a nowness to what's going on, an imminent energy. So if you were wondering, Nicholas, when do I begin something? Before we even look at the final question for today or anything else, I've got the answer here. It's now. Now is the time to take that leap to make something happen, so don't delay, okay? And let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk to about. I think that's pretty much it. I just really want to encourage you to see things through. So here's your two different versions of it here in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card. So they're looking at it and planning it, and they're realizing it. So it will happen faster than you think, okay? Also, it's interesting that we got a bunch of 2 cards that came through. We had the 2 of Cups and the 2 of Pentacles. In order to deal with this, which is a resource crunch, it may be advantageous to take a trip, that's the ship here, and meet someone face to face, the 2 of Cups, which you got in the karmic energy. Sometimes people need to see it. So demonstrating things can help too. So Queen of Wands is really good at showing, not telling. And maybe in the past you've done more telling and articulation. You have to do a little bit of both to bring in everybody's sort of like buy-in on this, okay? All right. The first significant challenge other than being torn in 2 directions, Aquarius, is not being able to see past this current situation. You may be fixing your view too much on one person or one problem, and the encouragement of 8 of Swords is basically saying, go much bigger, think way beyond this. What do you want to do 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Oftentimes in a corporate environment, this is something that is done. Once a year, you will adjust these sort of like long-term goals. But in our own lives, it usually takes a significant incident like marriage, birth, a loss of somebody, new money coming in, or a loss of money, something big. Don't wait for that. Don't wait for the rainy day. Give yourself a chance to step into the knowing, the knowledge, and allow that to also maybe even reveal a third line of possibility. So I mentioned I saw at least one other track. The fact that we actually have the 3 of Wands shows me that something else may be revealed. But you may not be looking because that card was reversed. So it may just be a shift of perspective that really kind of allows everything to come into focus. Take special care of yourself. 8 of Swords can represent something that you're ignoring. Maybe not as much as the 2 of Swords. Maybe you're so busy that you really aren't seeing it. But this is why it's important to slow down a little bit, talk to some people, make sure you're getting your health appointments in with your general practitioner and all of that. And definitely, if you're overdue for getting your eyes looked at, this is a great time for that. There might be some things that are coming through, whether they're challenges or really great news that just take you by surprise. Sometimes Spirit doesn't want you to overthink, and it's like, I'll show you when I'm ready to show you. Just know this, with the 2 and the 3 of Wands, I do believe you're set up for success, and especially with this, listen to the truth that is your intuition, and you won't be led astray. So I love what I see here towards the end of August. We have the 8 of Pentacles, which represents the ability to bring something into production, into movement. For those of you that are writers or even students, we see a lot of progress and something coming together. And the main thing here is to see it through. And I love the attention to detail as well with this 8 of Pentacles. If you've been creating a different routine for yourself, if you've changed up your diet or your exercise or your health perspective, this is where it all starts to come together. And any sort of product or service, this is attention to details, and this will pay off in the long run as well. Paying very close attention to the fine print is a part of this also. And if you intend to learn something, this card basically represents, it's almost like you're a sponge. Whatever you set your mind to in August, you have the capacity to see it through, remembering again that one of your key indicators and connectors between the 2 months was the Queen of Wands. So she has the ability to shine a light on something and make it happen. If you've been looking for agreement or a signature on the dotted line, that can also be represented by this. Teaching, learning, mentorship, signing on the dotted line. All really amazing stuff to come through towards the end of this 2-month forecast. Let's take a look now at this sort of destiny card. So this was your basically your karma. This is your destiny. And then I'll do a look at what the big takeaway for August is. But the destiny and the outcome of this 60-day period is the King of Pentacles, one of the absolute best cards. When it comes to money, probably only second to the Wheel of Fortune. So anything that you want to turn around, I mean, we literally see a difference here, like night and day between Queen of Pentacles in reverse and King of Pentacles upright. You can flip something around in your favor. This is a chance to really focus on believing in yourself, standing up for what matters. And I do think that over the course of these 2 months, Pentacles were predominantly coming through quite a bit here. Focusing on what matters to you, making sure that you keep honest with yourself and others with respect to that. And it's going to be worth the work in the long run. If you're seeking a job or if you're looking for a relationship, whatever the desired outcome is, something takes you by surprise, but it looks like at the end of the day, you're able to accomplish a good degree of your goals. This is like an 80% card here, the Eight of Pentacles. All right, let's look at the takeaway for August, and then we'll expand the forecast. So for August, Four of Swords is the takeaway, is the challenge, and let's talk about this a little bit. So rest is a necessary component to processing things. So in grief, this would be the period where you just allow things to sit in and eventually acceptance comes through in this. So something is finally solidifying with respect to that for those of you that might be trying to let something go or move on from something. This is also a card related literally to sleep. And if you've been in this energy of overextension, which is really the Two of Pentacles, it must come to a close at the end of the 60 days. There's a hard stop, and past this, there will be diminishing returns. I honestly think it's at the midpoint because that was the block. So this is the connector, this is the block. You should stop or start trying to end this overextension towards that 30-day period, but definitely by the end of this, you have to have rest and time to sort of like take care of yourself. Slow down, focus on sleep quality and sleep quantity. Okay, let's break this into a more detailed area of health, wealth, love. We've already covered destiny, so let's look at those main 3 areas. And again, we're going to start off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. So let's see. I'm going to use the same deck for all of these that seemed to work before. So let's start off with health, but I'll also pull wealth and love at the same time. So health, wealth, and love. All right, we're going to start off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. So we have gratitude making the difference here. I'm thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. It's easier said than done to step into the energy of gratitude, but it is really helpful, particularly when you have challenges that are in front of you. If you can find the silver lining, if you can find a way to say, this wasn't ideal, but I've got this, I'm ready to move on, it can make it much easier for you to start to see the beauty that was a part of these other 2 cards, the 2 and 3 of Wands. So we're not even looking at wealth, but this is actually a key to that. Gratitude changes your attitude. Attitude helps you kind of like bounce back. And in the long run, it kind of makes you happier, right? Let's just see if there's thematically anything that you need to be focusing on from a health perspective other than having a positive attitude, other than in acting with gratitude. Queen of Pentacles in reverse tends to over-treat herself. So that can come in the form of a vice like drinking or smoking. It can also be overworking. It can be overdoing anything. Moderation is key, and she's not exactly exercising that moderation right now. This is showing overwork or a lack of balance in your life. So know that you have limits. If you push too far, it will break. We actually get a deadline here. 30-day mark is the ideal place. 60-day mark is the absolute stop. You're overdoing it. There may be things that you have been ignoring or just not taking care of. So make sure that you're getting all of those annual physicals. Make sure that if there's certain things that, age markers that you're supposed to do, that you get those sort of things looked at as well. And let's see if there's anything else that's coming through. It's a pretty good read otherwise. Sleep quality, sleep quantity, again, running on empty. I think, again, for some of you, this could be caffeine or food. As a vice, we want to avoid that because it feels like what really just needs to happen here is ample rest. Okay, let's move onward to wealth. Okay, so this is such a great card. I'm aware that being happy means that I'm on the right path. And we talked about literal paths. So your path to success is tied to your happiness. If you are at a turning point where you can go in a new direction, now especially is the time to follow your heart. Let's break this down. We're going to look at 5 major subcategories. If you are currently employed, here's what I see. What's been going well for you is this beautiful Two of Cups energy. So you have the ability to work well with others. This month, as I said before, if you can have a face-to-face, you have a greater likelihood of overcoming this challenge, which could be a lack of resources. That is the pivotal block for everybody this month, but particularly for those that are employed. We have too little time, too few people, too much to do. And this Queen of Pentacles is going to have to say enough is enough. She may need the help of someone else that has a bigger voice or has a bigger impact, but you need to focus on one thing and really one thing primarily. You'll see that through. That's going to yield great results, and it'll be worth the hard work. You have a chance this month for multiple leadership opportunities. This is a chance to speak up. When you're speaking up, you can share your insights, and that's rewarded. Take your time to really flesh out your thoughts before you share them with someone else. And what we don't see here is cups, so it's about not getting overly emotional. It's being practical, it's being grounded, it's trying to find the common ground. Pretty much it's a good month. We don't see Devil, we don't see Ten of Swords, we don't see Seven of Swords. This card is the challenge, though. For those of you that do the lion's share of work, people may not notice it. Document it. Make sure that you're your own best hype person, and that can give you your best chance for advancement. People may be sitting, though, on promises, on emails, not answering you back. By the way, a lack of communication is communication. So if people consistently don't come through on the promise for a raise, for a promotion, and just don't listen to you or notice you, that is a form of saying you're not that important. Even if it is just by omission, you deserve to be seen. Look for a long-term goal or long-term place where you can be appreciated, but find that before jumping. This is not the climate in which we want to leave something just because it's not perfect. You got to find that plan B, and we'll be looking at job seekers in just a moment. Most of you can manage this. It's just a matter of if you can be your own hype person, be your own hype person for sure. All right, that's everything for employed. Let's move on to entrepreneurs. I actually feel like this is a decent time for entrepreneurs. You have a chance to take something to the next level. 2 and 3 of Wands are showing that an idea is coming to fruition. Your challenge is in resources. You might have to ask or dig or network a little bit more. I feel like you can get most of it, not all of it. So you might find 80% of what you want can be accomplished. There's a gap or a delta of about 20%. So you might have to figure out how to do multiple launches or to reduce the scope a little bit. Something has to give. Don't let that be your health, because you won't have the ability to enjoy or reap the benefits of what I see here, which is amazing. If you have employees, make sure that they are being rewarded. If you have great customers, it's a good time to do something for them specifically, whether it's customer appreciation, a special sale that only they have access to, etc. Your way to stand out in the market is innovation. Do something that no one else is doing. That's what I was talking about earlier. This is the key to success. Your challenge is resources, okay? Make sure you're happy. When you're your own boss, that's the hardest thing sometimes, because you're painting yourself into a corner. Make sure you're making time for joy and happy, because it might be lacking a little bit. All right, moving on to job seekers. So it doesn't matter where you're at in your process of employment, you can always enter into this portion. So you may find that you're looking at 2 categories. You may have a job and you might be looking for one. If you're looking for a job, here's what I see. I get the stress over money. It feels like it's the primary focus. This card is saying, yes, but if possible, make sure that this is part of this. Maybe you're just working to live, not living to work. That's fine. Make sure that when you are at that job, then that the stress doesn't get to your sound sleep here. You have to have good boundaries and limits if that's happening. Can you find something? Yes, but I do feel like it's more in the second part of this 2-month process. The first one is laying the tracks and the groundwork. I feel like it's probably going to take 2 interviews. Face-to-face is the key. What really is going to set you apart is not so much where you went to school, but how you communicate. So whether it's your written word or your like on your CV or your website or how you're presenting yourself, that's important. And it is words and presentation. So 3 or 4 weeks in, that's when I see things starting to open up. And I do see a signature on the dotted line. And so this is a very good reading for those that are looking for it. But the first month is primarily focused on research here. And if you're looking at, here's an interesting thing. There's a lot of companies that require homework assignments and tests. Make sure that you're not giving away too much. Sometimes they use that as a way to get free ideas. So read the fine print, give away just enough, and if they want more, that's when you say, hey, let's make sure that this gets on the dotted line. I'll do the rest when I'm hired. Just a little thing to be mindful of. All right, let's move on to those of you that are students right now. What I love here is the King of Pentacles. As we're looking at the destiny of all of this, it looks like you're headed in the right direction. One thing that is causing some challenges is there could be a teacher or a class where you're thinking, how does this apply to the real world? I honestly think that's a great question. Bring it up, because sometimes it is just theory. And when you actually get out in the real world, the practice of that theory may be much different. And if I think back to both graduate and undergraduate school for myself, there were certain classes where I knew that it wasn't going to help me. It was just part of the sort of like hierarchy that is college. So there may be certain things that you just have to kind of go with the flow. If that doesn't serve or suit your highest good, then maybe look at a different professor, program, etc. Okay, other things students might be going through. Well, there could be a new relationship coming through, and we'll look at that in a second. That could provide a little bit of a lack of balance, like you want to focus more on that. So just getting priorities straight is going to be a big challenge. I feel like you might be able to find additional financial aid. This is like, I almost see someone lifting up a bunch of paperwork or going online and finding something that hasn't been accessed. Definitely do that. Work with a guide or a mentor here, a financial aid specialist or a guidance counselor. You have a better chance of getting this. You definitely want to cast a wider net when it comes to all of that. Don't blindly go into something before you've done the research. I honestly think for this, particularly we have multiple travel cards here. Both of these, actually, yeah, all 3 of these represent travel. This person is looking at the globe. This person is looking at the ships. This person has ships behind them. You may need to look at 3 different places. For those of you that are considering a new school that you've never been to, have options. And whatever you're thinking of doing next, maybe it is even just like your long-term career, make sure you're doing 2 or 3 internships. It's okay to have questions. Don't let the questions fester, though. Talk to some people, visit some different places, get advice from at least 2 or 3. I see 3 options, by the way. And this is true for many of you. There may be 3 options in front of you. I saw 2 in the path. I think this even applies to those of you that might be looking for a job as I'm thinking about this, but there's more than one way. Don't put yourself in a box that's unnecessarily constrained, okay? This is a pretty good card for students. It represents apprenticeship. You're going to soak up a lot of the knowledge. You should be getting good grades this semester. The main problem, though, is what do I do next, or why am I doing this, and how am I going to get enough rest? But by and large, fantastic spread. Study what makes you happy, not what mom wants, not what teacher wants, not what society expects. Find something where you're going to be happy putting in the hours, because you will be putting in the hours in the long run. Retirees. I just talked to students about travel. Now, for you, it's slightly different. There are limited resources when it comes to how often and how much you can travel. But you can get creative. Just like I was talking about, students might be looking at different ways to find hidden money or cheaper ways to do things. And I think it would be great to plan a few events or a few trips or a few things. You may also be deciding to learn something brand new, and it's just because you want to. Now, just like students might be at a pivotal point, I think everybody that's working this month or looking at their self-development, there's a big question, which is what's next? This is about dreams, too. This is a much more abstract kind of view of the Four of Swords. You might have put a dream to rest prematurely or indefinitely, and now you're reconnecting with the dream. Please do. And there are two different things. First of all, writing, speaking, and just generally communicating could even be social justice, Queen of Swords. And this is about leaving a legacy, too. So some of you might be deciding to make it a better world for everyone else. We need that right now. So absolutely aligned with what you want. Now, there may be love, though. So for everybody, relationships play a key component. Now we can actually dig into the relationship portion. So let's look at love. And let's start off with those of you that are partnered. The energy that came through here, by the way, for everybody was empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. I've pulled this a couple of times this month. So that's going to be very pivotal as we go into this. In partnerships, what I love here is as we look at the karma, you have the Two of Cups. So you're already doing something right, but this is very intertwined. Sometimes we get so much in someone else's business that we forget who we are, or vice versa. There's a lot of focus on, for some of you, maybe getting pregnant, starting a family. If not that, then it's money. It's money and maybe purchasing a house. These are some of the core energies that would be a part of this. Timing may be different for the two of you. You may have the same goal, but the timelines veer a little bit. So what we see instead is the planning and maybe the compromise. I want it here, I want it here. How can we come a little bit closer in the middle? And it is a juggling act sometimes in a relationship. Aside from all of that, you have a great chance together to get a lot done. It does feel like there's a lack of acknowledgement is the best word. So simply saying thank you can go a long way. Getting back into this kind of playful, joyful energy of the Two of Cups could be very advantageous. Making time to see each other a few times a week. And it could be anything, like you're going to sit and make breakfast together, or you're going to take a walk after work together if you have a dog, or you'll do something for fun and be present and make the mundane special, is what I'm getting with this. And also let people know, hey, I appreciated that you did this, or I know that you're going through a lot. What can I do for you? How can I be there for you? That's being a great partner, okay? Change up the routine a little bit. This is a card where it gets mundane or boring. So surprise them with something that shows that you thought of them. That will go a long way. You'll get bonus and brownie points. So keep me posted on that. If you're single and looking, can you find someone? Yeah, you can. There may be someone that's coming through in the middle of the 2 months here, a fire sign. There could also be an earth sign at the close of the 60 days. I think the first thing that you need to focus on, though, is taking care of yourself. I'm really reading this Queen of Pentacles reversed as self-care, and this is really more about resources. So yeah, I see fire and earth coming through, but there's a little bit of work that you need to do on your own. This was a takeaway card for the overall month, so there could be an air sign as well. Here's the thing. When we get 2 to 3 options, what then is lacking is clarity. So let me ask you this. What is it that you're seeking in partnership? Why is it important to you? And then make sure that you found some of those qualities in yourself. The when is probably 2 to 3 weeks from the time that you watch this. And the where is not where you expected it. It could be at school or work, especially with all these pentacles. But where it might surprise you is if you were just hanging out with existing friends or family members, there could be something where you just bump into someone. It feels very organic. You may also find someone that already has a child, or you may have a child. So make sure that as you're looking that comes up if that's something that you're interested in. Or you may just both be looking at working a lot. So I think time is the biggest challenge here. Time, energy, and specificity. Be specific Not so much in like, I want all of these traits, but more like, I'm really seeking for this kind of person. When I say traits, like physical traits, not so much what I'm looking at. It's more you're looking at someone who's maybe independent or, financially and mentally and spiritually fit. Put together a list of 3 to 5 things and don't go overboard. Too few and it's crazy. Too many and you're not going to get enough. You have to find that sort of Goldilocks zone. So play around with that. All right. Moving onward to single and happy. Good for you. First and foremost, you can get so much work done this month, particularly with the 8 of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. Putting it into writing actually is the key to success for everybody for manifesting this month. Believe it, see it, speak it, live it, do it. You can make it happen this month, but you have to embody that feeling that you're already there. You're just catching up to it. You're just laying the tracks and you're going to get to that destination no matter what. All right, now is your chance to ask one final question, one final card. It can be anything that I haven't already addressed. Let's see what's coming through for you. We got so many 2s this month. 2 of Cups, 2 of Wands. Now we have the 2 of Swords. And 2 of Pentacles. We got them all. That's what I thought. Let me pause for a second. Every single 2. That hasn't happened in a great long time. I've gotten all aces before, but I don't think I've gotten all the 2s. So that's pretty powerful. There is an unexpected energy with it. We have looks like an ox or a bull at the center, which to me can represent stubbornness, expecting to see or experience something in one way, therefore missing something else. Both of these cards are blindfolded typically, and so expect the unexpected. If you ask me a yes or no, no, because you need to learn more about whatever it is that you're asking. There's something that yet hasn't revealed itself. There may be a better path in front of you. More nuanced, don't ignore something going on in your mind, body, spirit, or your environment, because you may think it'll go away, but it won't. It'll just grow into this. Better to deal with it now. Better to get curious and informed. That's the best thing with the 2 of Swords. Asking someone, wait a second, I'm not clear on that. Why is this happening? Looking at your own life and saying, what could I do differently? How did I end up here? What does this mean? It's always good to get inquisitive. You will see the path once you start doing that. All right, Aquarius, I hope you enjoyed this. I think that this is a really great way to, first of all, get all of us ahead and get a view at what's coming through. Sometimes I do quarterly videos. This time I wanted to just get us through the next 60 days. So you would have one, another one, and then we could take a breath and have more than enough to sort of forecast. But looking at the 2 takeaways, July, talk the talk, walk the walk. And then in August, allow things to go into motion and then rest, take care of yourself. You can finally, hopefully, take a deep breath. And that, my friends, is everything for this month. If you enjoyed this, and I certainly hope you did, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It's free if you're a brand new subscriber or viewer rather, and I really appreciate that. Everyone else, hit the like button, put a comment below, let me know what resonated. You can also follow me on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the major platforms. On Blue Sky, it's nicholasashbaugh.com. That's also where all of the information about me is. So you can go to my website, which is nicholasashbaugh.com. If you're watching this and want to give back here in real time, you can do it by becoming a member. And there are some perks for membership. You can also decide to give a super sticker or super chat. And again, that's a great way to show your support. So I just want to say thank you in advance. So that brings everything here to a close. And I just want to wish you all the best. Take care, and I'll see you soon.